Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and discuss this incident that happened at a private Westchester school. And, this is really just another day, another case of white teachers, females, psychologically traumatizing Black students because we have failed as parents. And I use that loosely because, again, I am not a parent. I do not have a child in the education system. But we are a community, so we failed our children in terms of allowing them to be in a system that psychologically traumatizes them and instills inferiority in them to this degree. Now, the reason this topic gets redundant, because it seems like no matter how many cases of these come out, no matter how many parents globally are aware that this is happening to their children, beyond protests, beyond sitting on the news, and beyond trying to demand justice or some kind of consequence for these teachers, nothing effective is really being done in terms of preventing this. There's not even a lot of parents pushing for putting their kids in African center school or homeschooling them. And I understand you have a lot of working parents who, they are busy, they work. You have a lot of single Black mothers out there who aren't getting support, and their children, they have to go to school. This is a requirement. But what you're not required to do is allow teachers to racially traumatize your children. And this is something that we should pay more attention to. A lot of people, you see the videos going around where students are acting out. Black students usually are acting out in school. They're having attitudes with teachers, but we will talk about those cases, but we won't bring enough attention to these situations, nor will we tie it to how this contributes, because again, this is a private school, so this is not just going on in the public sector. A lot of people think that they can send their children to private schools and that somehow they're going to have a different experience, when in reality, no, they're not, because you still have white supremacist females who get off on doing these things. I don't know when we're going to understand and realize that these people get off on psychologically traumatizing and reliving slavery. They are not sorry for it. That's why they keep mimicking it. At the bare minimum, Black parents should stop allowing them to teach their children slavery. That is a part of history that, number one, while accurate, it doesn't even tell the full story. It tells a story that is designed to keep Black children in an inferior state of mind. Because if you just believe that you came from slaves who were owned and dominated and subjugated and abused by white people who look like the children and the teacher that you sit in the classroom with, then obviously your brain is going to record that as your inferiority and their superiority. I want to go to this video, this news clip, and then I'll come back with some remaining commentary.
I'm getting teary-eyed about it because it's just like, how could somebody do this to my son?
Vernex Harding sat her 10-year-old son down for a tough conversation about cultural understanding. She's telling her story exclusively to Pix 11. Harding says her child was traumatized after a hands-on lesson about slavery. It felt all too real.
She told all the African-American students to raise their hands and proceeded with this exercise.
The exercise was a mock slave auction. Harding's son told her he and two other African-Americans in their 5th grade class were brought into the hallway.
She started to put imaginary chains along our neck, our wrists, and our shackles on our ankles. And as soon as she did that, Mommy, I knew it was wrong.
When they were brought back into the classroom, they were lined up. The teacher then asked other students to start bidding to buy them.
She reiterated and said, you look like a wealthy white man. How about 300? Just started a bidding with the children.
The mock slave auction of African-American students happened Tuesday at the Chapel School in Bronxville. Parents are now livid and organizing. One sent us this email from the principal. He called the lesson racially insensitive and hurtful. A school investigation is now underway. For now, the social studies teacher who led the lesson has been removed from the classroom, and tonight, parents are being called to the school for emergency meetings. Our sources in the Attorney General's office tell us Letitia James is aware of the parents' concerns here, and the AG's office is now monitoring the school's response.
So you guys heard that news clip, and notice how aside from a letter being sent around to parents, there was nothing really done that would deter this from happening again, nor was there anything done to hold this school accountable for having this racist teacher feeling that it is appropriate to do what she did. And see, this is why parents and how parents are dropping the ball. Because while many parents are single mothers, they're busy, they're working people, a lot of them generally don't really care or express any interest in trying to understand what's going on at their children's school or how it's affecting their children psychologically. And this is a problem, because if I had a child in the school system, it would really only take one time for them to come to me with something less than this. Before I'm up at that school, I'm making my presence known, and I'm letting it be known that this is just simply not anything that I'm going to tolerate. It just wouldn't be. But yet there's no national attention being brought to this very real issue, and it needs to be brought by the parents. Because like I said, even if you don't go storm the Board of Education, what you could do is still call up to the school or the Board of Education, write letters and tell them that you don't want your children even learning that. And if they do learn it, they need to be learning the full true story, and they need to learn it from a Black teacher, not a white teacher who gets joy and glee out of making children relive slavery. She's literally sitting here trying to sell children. This is wholly inappropriate, and she knows it's inappropriate. Now, this was a white teacher at Westchester County who did this, and she constructed it as a mock slave auction, targeting the Black students. These are fifth graders, so their identity is forming. People don't understand that when they're showing this and you have children whose sole identity is forming, do you think that this doesn't have anything to do with the low self-esteem and the devaluing of Blackness in the Black community when they're being taught this at the age where their identity and personality is forming? Now, when she did this, they said they plunged the private institution into chaos. People are paying a lot of money to send their children here so that they can be psychologically traumatized. Now, the administrator said they're investigating the allegation that the teacher allowed her white students to bid on Black students who pretended to be slaves during the fake auction. Now, the thing of it is why aren't parents teaching their children that they need to not engage or participate in situations like this? When something like this happens, you get up, you leave the classroom, you go tell the administrators that you don't like what's going on, that you're not trying to pretend to be a slave sold on an auction block. Now, the most they're going to say is, oh, we're just going to investigate. They're investigating the schools, and then it's been probed by the state attorney general. But if Black people don't put extreme pressure not only on the Board of Education and this attorney general, what is going to stop these teachers from doing things? Now, Vernix Harding was the lady you saw in the news clip. Now, she believes her son was singled out, but what is she going to do? Because he was singled out. But what is she going to do about it? Your family can be rattled and you can go to the school's leadership, but ultimately, what are you going to do about the fact that someone just singled your child out? She says, I'm shocked and infuriated that this happened to my son. I'm very shaken. Now, if she's an educational administrator at the school, then she would know that this is inappropriate. But again, be as shaken as you want to, but if that shakenness isn't going to motivate you to actually do anything about this, then that's a problem. It said, she said her son told her Tuesday night that she brought 3 of her Black students out of the classroom and into the school hallway where she pretended to place them in shackles. Okay. She then brought the 3 of the students back into the classroom where she conducted a slave auction where the white kids were literally buying Black students. Do you not, like, what? I don't understand Black people. Like, I don't really understand Black people at this point. It's like there's nothing in us that really cares. Nothing in us that really cares at this point. People can do whatever they want to our children. It's fine. psychologically traumatize them, physically traumatize them, brutally beat them, murder them. Oh well, we'll still keep on keeping on, praying to white Jesus, expecting someone to fly down from the sky and do something to stop them, despite we have all this power to do so ourselves. Like, this has been going on for generations, and it keeps producing low self-esteem having children. Your kid's been funneled from the school to prison pipeline. When is this going to be a priority to address? When is it going to be when is it going to be addressed? And it sounds like the students didn't even want to do it, and they were still made to do it. It doesn't take much to write a letter as a parent. You think they get mass amounts of letters bringing attention to this? This is not going to go under the radar. Black parents pull their children out of schools and say, okay, well, this is just too much. Now, a statement was made saying the portrayal of the history lesson that has been reported is inaccurate, out of context, contains false facts, and ignores the overwhelming support of Miss Antiochi from dozens of the parents at the school. Kimberly said, to the extent anyone took offense to a small portion of the overall lesson that day, it was certainly never intended. No remorse, right, at all. No remorse. Saying that, well, they're just lying. And they took it out of context. This is how bold they are. So you already know with that type of statement, nothing is going to happen. The matter caught the attention of James, who was launching her own probe of the incident, and she said the reports of racist lessons by a teacher at a chapel school are deeply troubling. My office is monitoring this matter closely. Tuition at the school ranges from $5,000 to $13,900. So people are paying. With the small amount of Black people at the school, they're paying to have their children psychologically traumatized. Everybody should be getting a refund. Everybody who has Black students in there should be suing. Everyone's really sad about it, said one parent who asked to remain anonymous, citing a request from school officials to refrain from speaking with the media. I don't know why she thought that would be acceptable. This is another white teacher that was on there that thought it was okay to walk on the backs of students. So it doesn't matter whether the school is public or private. This mentality and what they're choosing to do is what it is. And it's because Black parents are not responding to it appropriately. But you guys let me know what you think. And look, they always have to have a coon. But another parent, Dwayne McKinley, who has a child at the school in the 4th grade, said he knows Antiochi, and she's not racist. She likes to reenact a lot of stuff, said McKinley, who is Black. McKinley said he believes the lesson had been taken out of context, and he's not angry. Notice how there always has to be like a Black man somewhere being pulled up to coon and cape for racist white women. This needs to be addressed too, but of course is going unaddressed. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.